What's going on, WSSU Ram Nation? This is SJG. I appreciate everybody for hopping into this video. If you could please go ahead and give a like, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button as we continue to push towards 500 before we open football season. Very excited for everybody who has joined this community of folks who care about WSSU, whether you want to admit it or not, because I do know we have some folks out here who watch who aren't necessarily a part of WSSU Ram Nation, but they like to know what's going on here, and that's okay. You guys are welcome as well. But today, this one is for the Ramily. Today is July 8th, which means that we are roughly 5 weeks, a little bit longer than that now, since we got the news that Cleo Hill is he's going to that D1 level in the sky over at Maryland Eastern Shore, which opened up a head coaching basketball search, something that we weren't anticipating a couple of months ago. But hey, it's here. We had to deal with it. And so, you know, we've been covering it every step of the way. Again, of course, you guys know I'm the founder of HBCU Game Day, a media outlet that covers sports at historically black colleges and universities, as well as a 2009 graduate of Winston-Salem State University. And so, of course, I've been paying careful attention to what's been going on here now that I am in the Winston-Salem area. And I've dropped a couple of videos, some content, as well as the live that we had with myself, DP, and Trells and Dot. It was amazing. I had a great time. We'll have to do that again at some point. But right now, the news that we have to talk to and react about is the impending hire of the next Winston-Salem State University men's basketball coach. So I reported earlier today that multiple sources have indicated to me that Corey Thompson, a former WSSU basketball player on the 1999 and 2000 squads under Rick Duckett, RIP, is expected to be named the next head coach at Winston-Salem State University. Now, I reached out to WSSU, the official spokespeople, and they would not comment. They declined to comment, but it is my understanding that there is a press conference that is scheduled for the afternoon of July 9th, and so that is expected to drop, and where they are expected to announce the new head basketball coach. And it's never official until the ink dries on the pen, but my sources indicate that Corey Thompson is going to be the last man standing. Joaquin Bazemore was up for the job as well, but he has been told that he will not be the head coach. And obviously, as you guys know, Ricky Wilson, who was an assistant under coach, and news just keeps on coming in, under coach Cleo Hill, was the interim head coach, but it appears that he will not be getting the job as well. And so we've got Corey Thompson. Now, if you go to hbcugameday.com, you can read a little bit more about him, but a little bit about him. He started his college career at Fayetteville State in the band, redshirted, and ended up coming over with Coach Rick Duckett in the late 1990s and helping win 2 championships. He was a big man. He went on to actually be a grad assistant under Philip Stitt, the former head coach at Winston-Salem State University, and then he went on to be an assistant at UNC Pembroke, as well as Fayetteville State University, before going back to the high school ranks, which he's been since 2016. Now, he is coaching at St. Paul's High School on the outskirts of Fayetteville, so he's been there for quite a while. Has some success, has some 20-win seasons. Last season, they were 13-15. That was his worst record, I believe, since he took over the job there. But obviously, he's done something right to impress the folks over at WSSU. He actually was he was one of the candidates for the job back in 2018 when Cleo Hill eventually got the job. So Corey Thompson has been identified to me as the guy. That's my reporting about it. And so that's out there. We will get the official announcement on Tuesday is what I'm seeing, is what I'm hearing. But, you know, and I will say this, you know, I got my journalism degree, well, my degree in mass communications from Winston-Salem State University. I take it very seriously. It's where I learned the craft that, you know, I've honed over the last couple of decades and been able to apply all over the world. and it's gotten me a lot of accolades and a lot of things. And so I take pride in my degree at Winston-Salem State University, and had a lot of great teachers, had a lot of great alumni impart wisdom to me. And our own Stephen A. Smith once told me that no good journalist is liked by everybody, but the goal is to be respected. So I know that when I'm ahead of the game on WSSU stuff, reporting it, know that I'm using my degree as it was intended to. Shout out to the MassCom alumni, Hall Patterson. We out here as always. So I take pride in that. And, I report on a lot of different schools. And so, of course, I have to treat WSSU the same there. That being said, obviously, I have a big affinity for WSSU. And I hope that if Corey is the guy, as the sources are telling me, I hope that he's successful. He wasn't one of the guys that I made the video for. He kind of fell under the radar a little bit for me, but obviously he's done some things right, and the powers that be like what he's got going on. So he's going to be the head coach. The journalist in me is going to ask questions. The journalist in me is going to report, search for information, and give you guys the information that you need. That was the emphasis behind starting HBCU Game Day, so that folks would be informed and they wouldn't be in the dark, and so they could be excited about their HBCUs and know what's going on. I know sometimes that things kind of move at a slow pace, but I think it's important for alumni again to be informed so that they can be excited, so that they can spend those dollars when you're trying to get those season tickets. Folks want to kind of feel like they're in the know. And if I'm being honest with you, and I feel like I need to be, because I do love Winston-Salem State University, there have been some things over the past couple of years, I would say probably since the hiring of Cleo Hill back in 2018, May of 2018, that have left the WSSU faithful at times puzzled, at times frustrated with, if not the outcome, at least the lack of transparency in major athletic decisions. And so that's a real thing that has to be dealt with, and we can't ignore that elephant in the room. Again, I hope that Corey is that guy. I hope that this is the right hire. But if you look at the situations that we've had, if you look at under the previous administration, A.D. Walker left, and we went over a year without an athletic director. And I don't think any college that takes athletics seriously should do that. I just don't. And I think there were situations, there were recommendations made that were held. Eventually, we did get an AD, and AD Thomas has come through, and she was hired in 2019. But we went a long time in between that, and at a certain point, our football coach was let go, and there was a lack of transparency there in a lot of ways and a lot of time. And of course, we now know a little bit more about that situation, but those types of things, and again, put my phone on silent next time. Those types of things, it's how do you get excited when you're not in the know, right? And then we finally get AD, which is leadership, which is great. Then, we got 1 year of an interim coach in 2019, and all of a sudden the pandemic comes, we don't play football. Then we get into 2021, we've still got an interim head coach. We still don't have a permanent head coach. We go through another season, 4-win season, 3-win season, and we get a coaching search, and there were names out there. Those names, got out there, and there were some names that were recommended, but we ended up with the same coach. We ended up with the interim coach that we had for over 2 years, and I think a lot of people felt there was a lot of, again, transparency. People weren't happy with the level of transparency they felt, if not the outcome. And so the men's basketball program has been a saving grace for the WSSU. Obviously, we won softball championships, and I believe a volleyball championship in there as well, and women's track and field has won a share of a title. So those are great. But when you look at an athletic program, your main people are going to be your AD, your football coach, your men's basketball coach, your women's basketball coach, and this men's basketball getting 2 titles out of Cleo Hill in 5 years was amazing. We probably could have had a third if we would have played that 2021 season, but of course that was not to be. But we were able to really get a lot out of that hire. It would have been great if we could have kept Coach Hill, but that doesn't happen all the time, so you have to be ready. And so again, you get to this hire here, and this is high profile. If you look at the name of our school, the first 3 letters are what? W-I-N, win, Winston-Salem State University. We expect it. The CIAA expects it. Everybody expects it. Well, if we don't, nobody's going to cry any tears for us. Nobody's going to say, oh, well, their coach left late. It is what it is. But, what we don't want to happen is we don't want apathy in the program. We've always had a lot of pride in our programs, in our athletics. That is a part of the DNA of being a Ram. And, it would be foolish for us to act like there is not, again, at least what is the word I'm looking for? At least there is not a hesitancy when these big decisions are up in confidence and how they're going to play out and the level of transparency. So, Coach Thompson will get a clean slate. I hope he does well. For sure, as an alumnus, I got to do my job as a reporter, and I will continue to do that. But let us know what you guys think as WSSU appears set to make its next hire very soon in men's basketball. If you think Coach Thompson is the guy, if you think maybe they should have given Coach Wilson a chance, if Bazemore, talked about Davis as well. There were a lot of names that I heard. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. We will continue to cover this story as we will continue to cover your WSSU athletics and WSSU overall. I appreciate all you guys, WSSU Ram Nation. Let's have a great one, and let's keep it going.